judge you.
As long as you see at some point in time, I can.
Oh, okay.
We're judging. And we live. And we are live. Okay. If all of y'all got it. Yep. We are getting on now. We got people that are coming. Okay. Probably because I ain't tagged you. Go to my page. Okay.
All right.
All right, everybody.
What's going on, people?
It is Thursday. Welcome to Brother Empowerment. You know, the whole focus of this is to change the negative narrative that is associated with being men in America. We're going to combat any type of negative behavior, any type of thing and we're not going to subscribe to any type of negative stereotype. And today is a special day because we wanted to have a discussion on burying toxic masculinity. After today, we won't be using that word because we realize that basically people are using this word not to educate, but now it has become a word just to really just hurt people. Anytime there's a disagreement, now it has become that term that we want to just subscribe to project any type of negative feelings or whatever. So we're going to kill that today. But before we do, we're going to go ahead and allow our guests to introduce themselves. So go ahead and start it off, Ed.
Hi, Ed Dudley. Pleasure to be here. Want me to go?
Yep, tell them a little bit about you.
So I'm the founder and managing director of L2P Financial Partners. I'm the founder and chief connections officer of We Are Connected, co-founder of a nonprofit called Shining Light in Darkness that focuses on sexual assault and domestic violence, founder of a Black philanthropy group called the Romney. I think that's about it right now.
I don't got all. My name is Kerwin Pittman. I'm the executive director, founder of REPS, Recidivism Reduction Education Program Services. I'm a community advocate, community activist in the city of Raleigh. Venturing out into the author. I'm trying to get out my repertoire like this.
You got a lot of stuff going on.
Did you say a personal trainer?
Personal fitness trainer. Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and keep it light. My name is Ian Parks, and I'm the founder of nonprofit after school special and teens at the
Mine's gonna be really light. So my name is Cordell Gibson. I am a love advocate and one of the board members of Love the Parable, and also I very often post Brother Empowerment, as you see today. This is my home. So yeah.
It has now become the Love is a Parable headquarters. Okay, so we're gonna just jump into it. Well, first, we always do this. How was y'all week? How was y'all week?
All the guests first, Ed.
Oh, hectic week, but good week. I'm still here.
Hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
Hey,
Yeah.
love it. Love it. Love it. Man, summer vacation. Love it.
Y'all lucky because when I came in here, it was 82 degrees.
Hey, chill out, man.
As soon as she went upstairs, I was like, no, we're going to cut this hair off. So how was your weekend?
Oh, it was good, but busy, as always. I need a vacation, like ASAP.
Yeah.
If there's any travel agents online, please hit me up.
So let's just get into it. When you brothers hear the term masculinity, what comes to mind?
Of course, men. When I think of masculine, I think of men. I also think of strength, and I also think of power. Those are the things that come to mind.
Man, strength and power.
Yeah. Somebody that's holding himself out as a real man. Walking with his chest out, head up high, taking care of his business.
Yeah. That's exactly what comes to my mind. Upright man, same thing, masculine. Somebody who sits and give example of good to man, regardless of what generation.
I think leadership.
You think leadership?
Yes, again, I think leadership. Turn that picture there.
So,
Okay, good.
so I'm curious when you say, you know, the term masculinity, you think leadership.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but why?
The reason why I think that, because if you think about its history, you know, men are supposed to be the head of the household. So automatically, I feel like all of us are leaders.
What about, do you think that masculinity is threatened in today's culture? How so? Kerwin, you have to talk up this time.
Oh, okay. I think in today's culture, masculinity is threatened. When you teach the other gender to be totally independent, it kind of hampers, for me, in masculinity, and it makes them feel like, in the sense that they're not needed, in a sense. So this why you can kind of play on their masculinity, and not saying that they need it to kind of validate their masculinity, but to be that upright man. It kind of diminishes that, in a sense. And so that's why I feel like.
So you feel like there's an attack, really there's an attack on masculinity, but it's mainly coming from the other gender? Or
I can't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that.
what do you think, how would you say, where's the attack coming from?
The attack is coming from really the way the culture is being perpetuated. So it's being perpetuated in numerous ways. I can't just say from the other gender. It could be just how a man is perceived in today's culture, society, like the role and responsibility. Now, granted, I understand that everything got to evolve with time, and so people got to adapt and adopt different ways and different things. But when you take a man's role and diminish his role, so to speak, and so that's when it kind of go haywire. So I believe that culture itself kind of plays a big part in diminishing male's masculinity in today's society. And so the gender is just a part of this fight, this ploy.
Well, the reason why I ask is because I do feel like there has been an attack on masculinity from both angles. There has been a capitalization on quote unquote hypermasculinity. Feeding into that narrative, there are both men and women who have profited off of the exaggerated masculine stereotype. You know, and there are some who have been victim to it, which I do understand, but I do think that when we're talking about full circle, yes, there are some bad habits, but there are also some people who capitalized and exploited those bad habits and created a new culture and created a new narrative. And we don't talk about that part.
I think there's definitely, you make an interesting point, because in movies, especially in TV, stereotypical masculinity, the masculinity, I'm saying quote, the masculinity that really tears people down and tries to dominate over other people is perpetuated in a lot in popular culture, TV and movies, stuff like that.
People like
exactly. Yeah. Good, great.
A lot of music.
Yeah. So, and I think that Jay is definitely right that if there's an attack on masculinity in that aspect, I also think that because in this age, millennials, which those millennials almost 40, so a bunch of us are millennials. And especially via social media, masculinity is being picked apart. So some people view that as an attack, some people view that as a change, but it's being picked apart and changed into something different because we're taking the stereotypes and looking at them in a different way now and just basically breaking them down.
And we don't talk about how in society too, it's an extreme. If I'm not for, that means I'm against. Right. Or if there is one, it's like it's all or nothing.
Right.
And I think that if we're going to look at masculinity, we got to look at masculinity from a cultural standpoint, meaning a subcultural standpoint. What I wasn't raised like people were raised in North Carolina. I'm from Georgia. Georgia has its own culture, and Augusta, Georgia has its own culture, which is different from Atlanta, and which is different from Macon and Savannah. And I think a lot of times people exaggerate or assume because you do this, that automatically means you would do that. And I think that that extreme type mentality also needs to be dismissed, because that's not helping. I think that's only making problems worse. I can be not for something, but not against it either. Because I cannot really care about it one way or another, and no one has a right to make me want to care about something that I don't care about.
Right.
So a lot of you brothers said when you thought about masculinity, you thought about man. Thought about being a man. So the next word naturally would be, well, what is manhood to you?
$64 million question. Manhood to me is So manhood to me is, and that's a loaded question because manhood depends on who you're talking to and who's asking the question. So, or more so who you're talking to. Yeah, exactly. Upbringing,
different cultures.
Yeah, I mean, manhood is, in some cultures, is total dominance over everyone within your sphere of influence. Whereas manhood in other cultures is just being, being trustworthy, being upright, and just doing what you're supposed to do. It really just depends. Manhood has a lot of definitions, some stereotypical, some problematic, and some, positive. So manhood means a lot.
Yeah. It depends on how you were brought up. Yeah. I mean, because a lot of us look at manhood like completely different. Manhood for me is just someone that is a man taking care of responsibilities, whether that's family or career or things like that. It's just somebody that, once again, standing upright. And to me, they're synonymous. Masculinity.
Yeah.
And you go over there in the corner nodding.
It's agree with everybody. Because I think at the end of the day, it really depends on your upbringing. So for me, how I would answer the question is, manhood is all of the above. And what I mean by that is, everybody's circumstances is different.
Yeah.
So if you were speaking to, a child or a teenager, how would you help them to understand the importance, the identity of man, but also the importance of man?
I would say the identity is really going to be based off of your perception, and try not to let all the outside noise influence the way you perceive how a man is supposed to be. And hopefully that child has a good example. But if not, then base it off of your reality on what you think a man should and shouldn't do.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, Fred Foreman said, "What up, brothers?" What's up, Fred? Hold on.
What's going on, bro?
Yeah. No, I mean.
Oh, no, you're fine.
No, I'll say, if I was going to explain to a young boy, I would say that manhood is essentially just doing what's right and, being supportive and protective of those people around you that you care about. That's all I would tell a young man, a young boy, what manhood is, without getting into the minutiae, into the specifics of anything.
And see, I would, when I think about manhood, I would immediately think about the connection that you have with other men.
Right. Yeah.
Meaning that we're all brothers. When I see another guy, there are some things that are just universally understood. And what I think is not being enforced is manhood.
Right.
I think people are talking about man, I think people are talking about masculinity, but I don't think that people are talking about the togetherness of men.
Right.
That uplift and that encourage each other. The things that we do on the phone that is not on television. I think individuality is being enforced.
Yeah.
I think that we should be independent to a certain extent, but I think that we need to also focus on being interdependent. Because that's the stage after independency, meaning you can stand on your own, but now what can we do together? What if your experiences causes you to be blind to certain situations? If you're a part of a manhood, together we can get a better understanding. How many times have someone explained something a little bit better than you, or explained it a little bit better than the teacher or whoever, and you got it?
When you're friends.
Right. And your parents, well, I'm a parent now, so I definitely get it. I've been telling you that. Friends said, oh, it makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I went through as a teenager, so yeah, manhood is definitely communal. It's definitely community. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think
It should be.
And I think that as we begin to, they say bring back certain things, I think we need to bring back manhood.
Yeah.
I remember, like, we did an episode talking about the neighborhood uncles. What happened to him? It was always that uncle that was always calling you nephew, who always set you straight. He may have been drunk, he may have been sober. You know what I mean? He may have been on drugs, he may have not, but he always had an expectation for you to do better.
Right.
And it was always, don't be like me.
Yep.
And they always tell you, better listen to your mom, better straighten up. And we don't have neighborhood uncles anymore.
Yeah.
And that was part of manhood. Those were the men who messed up, and they made sure that nobody else messed up.
Yeah. Now we got a suit called everybody nephew. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, so naturally, what about sexuality?
That might be arguably a more loaded term than masculinity. Yeah, I mean that's man.
It would be brother empowerment if it wasn't some controversy.
Yeah. I mean, sexuality could. I mean, again, it depends on who you're talking to. Because I mean, you could be talking about the attraction part of it between two people. You could be talking about the extent of it, how far it goes, as far as there's different kinds of you could be talking about anything. So it's a term that I think that a lot of folks try to confine to a certain bubble, but I think that it's such an expansive term that
It's completely wrong.
Yeah, it is. It transcends so many things.
You can put 100 people in a room and ask them to give you a definition, you'll get 100 different answers.
Right, literally. Yeah.
And don't let them hear each other.
Yeah.
And you'll get 100 different answers.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the lens that you're looking through.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I would say we get sexuality comes up every time we talk about masculinity.
Yep.
Sometimes, but some people view it as being synonymous when it's really not.
Mm-hmm.
And I can give you a good example for when we did the Brother Empowerment Cookout. Cordell, no, it was somebody who reached out to us and said, well, can gay men come? And to me, I thought it was a funny question because I didn't even think about that. I'm like, if you're a brother, you come, it's about uplifting one another. And the brother said, well, most times when people say men empowerment or brother empowerment or any type of men, that means gay men are not invited.
Because society, a lot of people in society do not look at them as men.
That's correct. That's very correct.
The way they carry this, they said that's not a man.
Right.
They'll use all types of derogatory terms for them. I'm sorry, if you have that certain chromosome, you're a man.
Yeah. Well, and to piggyback on that, whenever some people talk about gay men, they always talk about the stereotypical gay man who's effeminate, who's this and that. Whereas it's not all gay men are like that. You have some gay men that if they didn't tell you, you wouldn't even know.
Big buff bros.
Exact football players, boxers, basketball players. Yep. You wouldn't even know. And so that is another reason why it's such a broad term. And then I guess, like I said, people try to confine it. And that part is damaging. That part is extremely damaging.
I feel this, like I say, the culture. This culture kind of.
When you say the culture, you gotta define which culture you're talking about.
I mean, when I say the culture, I mean Western culture. Over here in America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if we go to the East, their culture is totally different.
Right.
So if it's different on the scale of different cities and towns and states, so you know it's different when you go into different countries.
Right.
So in the West, they perpetuate the stereotype of when somebody's gay, the feminine guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so this will automatically, when somebody says gay, this will automatically come along.
Mm-hmm.
This guy. And so and the sad thing is some of them even refer to themselves as not being a man.
Mm-hmm.
When they start calling themselves she and just different terminology, which is it's a touchy subject, right? But when they start calling, they kind of demasculate their own self.
Well, so you got a lot of people in society now, they're not calling themselves men.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asexual, I'm intersexual, I'm this, I'm that. I'm not saying man, I'm a man.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you're a man first.
Yeah.
And everything else after that
Right.
just falls after that. You're a man first.
Yeah.
But they are labeling themselves different ways. And then you got the whole thing where, children are being born now. Well, I'm not giving them a gender. They're gender fluid.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not. If you have a certain part, you're a man.
Yeah.
Plain and simple as that. You call it what you want to call it, but you're still a man at the end of the day.
Yeah. I know from an educational
Yes, how you
standpoint,
doing, sir?
it seems like, it's hard to kind of get straight men to kind of help out. Like, more gay men are willing to help from an educational standpoint than straight men.
Ooh.
Because the support part, they're all for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you how many times I've been in the room with some workshops or some networking events, especially in the nonprofit space, and I be the only man there.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but women in
Yeah.
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 there.
It's a harsh reality, but it's true.
Yeah, well, my brother Jay had said one thing to me once. I think we talked about it earlier today. You saying that when it comes to events or anything, any kind of support-oriented interaction or anything like that, men are there's a significant number of men that are it's relationship-based, whether they show up or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's very, very true. And something I hadn't really thought about. I mean, how many times, as one of your homies said, hey man, you come to my event, this and that. Like, okay. And you go to the event, and Jay, what do you say? You don't know, the event might be named whatever. But, it's fine. We go to my homie's event. We go
Case
support
in
him.
point, I got screwed up at the event I met you at. I didn't know what the name of the event was. I was like, Ian, what event? The event, Ian was like, it's hard.
Yeah.
Ian told me to come, so I was at Ian's event.
Yeah.
He wasn't even the headline. I'm talking about Ian's event. But I think the bigger confusion is, and this is the thing that some people were saying, which did shine a light on things. Sex is biology, gender is a construct,
Right.
and sexuality is something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Why is sexual identity even in the same place as gender and sex?
Yeah. Well, it's
So why is it when they say a man, it automatically means heterosexual Christian?
yeah.
Why is it that way?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's that way because people who have influence and want to be that way made it that way, essentially. And so it's just now it's normal to all of us. And again, I'll bring up the information age and social media. All that is being chipped away now. It's being broken down. As much as people talk negatively about social media is helping everybody in the world at the same time have all kinds of different conversations, breaking down constructs that have been there for centuries. All these conversations taking place at one time. Whether you're talking about sexuality, whether you're talking about racism, whether you're talking about misogyny, all the negative isms that we talk about, all the conversations take place at the same time on social media. And it's a wonderful thing, but it's also a very scary thing, is because it's a lot of information, a lot of people's they're having revelations, and a lot of their age-old ways of thinking are being just wiped away, and not willingly either. For some folks,
People are angry.
That's correct.
It makes a lot of people angry and defensive.
Yeah, your beliefs got all these holes in them now, and now you're upset because you hold on to it for your whole life, and you attach so much emotion to them. For some folks.
Well, for a lot of people, because if you believe this since you're a child, or you've been told something since you're a child, now you come to find out that it's not true.
Right.
What do I believe in?
Yeah.
My whole foundation is shaking.
Yeah.
So what do I believe in now?
Yeah. So instead of rebuilding, I get mad.
Yeah, I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna get defensive, and I'm not gonna accept it.
Right.
Because a lot of people will not accept it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mess. And a lot of the times it'd be something like that was passed down from generations. So now when you attacking my grandmother. So
Right. Yes.
So now my emotions,
Yes.
I feel like you saying my grandmother.
Yeah.
Call my grandma lied.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My nana told me that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Nana, didn't go through a lot of stuff and had a very, limited view of things.
Exactly.
I will say that I'm really a fan of social media for several reasons. It's not because it helped Love is Comparable so much. It did help me make so many connections when my wife and I moved up here. We didn't know anybody. But I also feel like social media holds you accountable. Once you put it out there,
They don't call you out.
right. And I think that is a great thing. So don't put anything out there that you're not ready for people to address. Even if you did it 5, 6, 10 years ago, people are researching and calling stuff out.
And that's the craziest thing, man. That's the weird thing to me about, people bringing up old, tweets or old stuff like that. So one, social media, you put out there publicly, it's just out there for it don't matter. The internet, nothing goes away on the internet. No matter if you delete it. On the internet, nothing goes away. It's stored on some server, on some hard drive somewhere. Another thing is that even as, I'll be 33 years old this year. If I said something at 23 that was damaging, it don't matter if I change now, I still said it.
Right.
I was an adult and I still said it. So I still need to become accountable for it. It don't matter if I change. Now, it might change the weight of what I said because I've changed now, but still being held accountable for what you said previously is something that some people act like is an attack on their character. Like, no, you still said this. I'm not gonna tear you down, but you said this before. Like, so what happened?
And the better thing to say is, yeah, I said it, I was wrong then, or I was in a different place.
Right.
Or like Kevin Hart did when it was brought up. He was like, man, I ain't apologizing for something I said a long time ago. I meant it then, I meant it now. So it's like, whatever it is, be accountable for what you said. Don't avoid it. Don't act like it's not out there. But also, once you invite people into your personal space, it's no longer your personal space.
It's everybody's space.
Right. And everybody got a right to say something.
Just like when people put their relationship stuff on Facebook and they say, well, you don't have a right to say what relationship is public now. We in your relationship now. I want to know what happened. What did Pookie do? Did he cheat on you? I want to know what happened.
Right. We all your therapists.
We there too. You want to know.
Well, now we kind of went into it when we started talking about sexuality. So now we're going to talk about it. Toxic. When you hear toxic, what comes to your mind? What do you think about?
Poison.
Yes, that's something that's damaging on many levels, and that it's devoid of any positivity. It's it's completely negative in all senses of its being. That's what I think.
Junior, think about destruction.
Exactly.
Guys, we have Pastor Anthony Vickers that just walked in.
How's everybody?
Fashionably late. Right, I know.
Walking late.
Yeah.
You're held accountable for company looks out. So, it's funny when I think about toxic, I think about extreme.
Yeah.
I don't think about poison in a sense. I don't even think about it as a negative thing per se. I think about it as in excess. It's too much.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you have too much of anything, it becomes toxic. You might like cake sweet, cake good. You keep eating it, you don't get a stomach ache. Now the cake is toxic. You know what I mean? And I think that some people look at it as, oh, that's a label that's bad. I look at it as that's a sign that maybe you are too aggressive, or you're too exaggerated in whatever action that may be associated with. Because there are a lot of toxic behaviors, and usually they are extreme.
Another word is unhealthy.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. It's turned into a buzzword now, which is, definitely the thing that
Which annoys me.
Yeah, I mean, and so it happens with anything that mainstream, I guess for lack of a better word, mainstream, society / culture gets a hold of. It just becomes a microwave. It becomes a really basic, really simplified version of what it was before. Everybody got a hold of it. So toxic has become that. Whereas before, toxic was reserved for stuff that was just really, I'll say damaging again, in a sense.
It's
now,
really dangerous.
Yeah, now toxic is thrown out for whatever. You know what I'm saying? You yell at somebody or whatever, or you get mad at somebody, you say something, oh man, you're being toxic. Wait a minute, you don't even know the context of what happened or nothing like that. You just threw it out there. It's a buzzword now. And buzzwords are just,
They're microwave.
Yeah, they're microwavable. You know?
Well, I feel like toxic itself, because you talk about it as a buzzword, has become toxic.
Yep.
Because it's almost like the use of racism.
Mhm.
People use it so loosely.
Yeah.
When there are true acts of it, it kind of just diminishes what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to stop doing that, because people who really need help and acts against them are truly happening, they're being foreshadowed by these wolves.
Yeah.
These people who just cry wolf over and over and over again. And so we have to be mindful, social media again, we have to be mindful of the words that we always use. Because I'm the first person to say this. If you're always using the same word over and over and over again, you may be that word.
Yeah.
If all you're doing is saying everybody is toxic around you, it might not be everybody. You might just be the toxic individual.
M-I-Y, maybe it's you. You know, straight up, man. Straight up. Yeah. Oh, Landy said, great day. Hey, Landy.
Hey, Landy.
So yeah, no, I think that's true. So yeah, toxic is definitely, it really at this point, man, it's just been overused. It's really just been overused. Everything is toxic now. It's like, wait a minute, man. Some stuff is that. Not everything is toxic. You know, just like Lord Jay said, extreme is a great qualifier for that.
Yeah. Also think about stereotypes too.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think about crime.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, how many times have you guys heard the term or the phrase, big boys don't cry?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you think about it from a baby's perspective, what's the first noise we make?
Yeah, it's really quiet.
It's crying.
That's the form of communication.
Yeah. It is.
That's the worst thing to do
Mm-hmm.
to a man.
Yeah.
When they learn a little, don't cry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Suck it up.
Yeah.
Don't cry. Now you got all these men walking around, all this pent up emotions inside them, and they can never cry.
Yeah.
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 They never let it out.
Yeah.
They're damaged.
Yeah. Or they cry once every 5 years.
Yep. And then when it comes out, sometimes it comes out not even crying. It comes out completely out anger, violence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember a lot of times I just go somewhere and cry by myself and then come out like it's okay. Because you're not supposed to see them cry. But now if the tears flow, they're going to flow. Snot flow, it's going to flow, because you never know your crying, how it helps somebody else. And sometimes people are looking for an outlet. So I definitely agree with that. Which now about to go into another controversial term.
Wait, before we get to that, Uncle Marty said nephews. What's up, Uncle?
I ain't talking to you, Uncle Marcus. I'm sorry.
He was supposed to be here, but you know, no snap.
Love you, Uncle Marcus. Religion.
Oh.
What about
Where you want to go? What come to mind?
it? There's so many different ways you can go with this.
What come to your mind as soon as you saw the word?
Man-made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we had all types of religions. Yeah. Man-made.
Everybody's like,
double dutch. She's like,
something that shouldn't be attached to it.
Well, religion itself, the word, if you look at the true meaning of it, it's not a bad thing. It's when the religious dogma becomes attached with it. It's different things that's implemented. Because the word religion means just to retie you back to your spiritual system or your spiritual self. That's what it means. If you look it up in Latin, really that's the breakdown of it. So the word itself shouldn't be taken in a negative connotation. The religious dogma that's attached to different sets of religions. This is where the impetus and kind of the trouble comes in.
Yeah. When I think about religion, I think of indoctrination.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I tell people quite often now, I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. I can do without the pillars and the construct, but the spiritual part, I'm very much.
That's growth, bro.
So thank you.
Right, because I know you in 2 years what you used to say.
Yeah, I used to just say I'm not all of it. Nope. None of it. Are you? Nope. Are you coming? Nope.
But I will say, I'm sorry, when I think about religion, the only thing that I think about is Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I'm not gonna lie, because that's my school. Meaning that's my school of thought. That's my foundation. Most of my experiences, like with other religions, have been pleasant. So when I hear religion, only thing I think about is Christianity, and I can go down a whole list of different experiences and different emotions. And I often wonder how many people look at it that same way. Like when you hear religion, you automatically think about a religion.
Right.
You don't think about the term and what it means and all of that. You think about your personal experience and what that word meant to you. And for me, immediately I go to Christianity.
That's an interesting point.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
people,
because
especially in the South.
yeah,
Well, yeah, in the South, yeah, because we're in that Bible. But when I think of religion, I'm looking at this. I gotta look up in the sky and see all these clouds. I see everything.
mm-hmm.
I see the Arabs, what's their major?
Islam?
Islam. I see Islam.
I thought you were about to say the Big Dipper. I'm like, I see.
I see Buddha, Buddhists. I see all that different religions. So it's just, when I hear religion, I just don't think of Christianity. That's you. I'm completely opposite.
Yeah, that's just me.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
No, I was gonna say I agree with that because I think of like just diverse perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know just me personally, growing up, I always wonder why there were so many religions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother show.
Right. Whole nother show, whole nother time. But I will say that that's just what it is. And when I hear most arguments about religion, most of the things are not about like, it's usually the big three. And the bigger of the three is usually Christianity. Like I have never heard anybody argue about Buddhism or Shintoism or Zoroastrianism or Hinduism. You know, like I ain't never heard them or the Baha'i. Like I haven't. But usually what I hear is really don't hear that much. It's usually Christianity and Islam, but more Christianity.
Well, see, up north, where I'm from, I hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I'm
You hear which one?
Judaism.
Okay.
Especially if I'm going to New York.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's just a huge set of the Jewish culture there.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is probably where you are.
And I say that to say, that a lot of people don't communicate that part though. Like when they think about when some people think about words that are triggers for them, it's a trigger for a reason and it has a root. So when some people hear words, they don't say, they don't think about, I'm just thinking about Christianity, really. I ain't really thinking about all the religions and giving it a fair answer or a fair assessment. And I think that that's what happened with a lot of these words. It has one root, and that's what people focus on versus the many branches of a tree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, we had a comment too it was earlier from Jason, and you were talking about
Mahoney.
Yes.
Okay, what's up, Jason?
What's up, Jason? And when you were talking about men not crying and stuff, he was saying the exact same thing you said. He said that creates a lot of contained emotions that will come out extremely unhealthy. It can also impact one's health. He said he tells people Jesus wept, so as men he can cry. Yeah. So
You go sit in the office.
Okay. Here go another hit. Femininity. Why Cordell? He moan at every word that come up.
No, because you picked the right word. So I know for me, I guess I'll take the first crack at it. Femininity to me itself, it just means the feminine energy or the feminine just aura itself. I know that when it's talked about in mainstream culture, it's basically telling women what they should do. What's feminine, being dainty and
The ladies.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Soft.
Yeah, soft. That's
Nurturing.
what it is. Yeah. Or you being
Servants.
when someone tells you as a man you're being feminine, they're basically saying
That's a derogatory term.
yeah.
Right. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Why everybody looking like I'm gonna stay away from that one?
I feel the same way.
He summed it up good.
Yeah. That's why.
And here goes. This is another word that automatically goes to gender.
Yeah.
And I think that this is why, like, if you tie it back to the other one, the other word, religion that we just talked about, I think that that's what frustrates me. And a lot of these religions, they talk about the female and the male attributes.
That's right.
And they don't talk about the strength of that or the power in masculinity or power in femininity. They immediately go to a gender and then they act like it's derogatory, but not realizing even in writing, there is female attributes and there are masculine attributes, and then there's gender neutral. But people don't talk about those things. And so you have generations on top of generations who are actually speaking ignorance because they don't know and nobody is teaching them. And then they say they believe in something they don't even know that they believe in. You know what I mean? I always tell people that, like, they talk about what a woman is supposed to be. Well, especially my people of the faith. Well, we the bride. I'm still a man, but I'm the bride too.
Yeah.
I'm the man, but I'm still a daughter too. I'm a daughter of Zion, but I am a man.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that because receiving, sometimes you got to be in a position to receive.
Yeah.
If you want to birth something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all visionaries have to be in a position to really receive.
I felt it.
He was looking at you.
I felt it.
Actually, it went like this. It was like this. Because it's a room full of visionaries, and you know sometimes something will humble you and be like, oh, let me sit down and think about this thing.
Yeah.
If you're not in a position to receive, you'll never birth.
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
Oh, here go your favorite word. Culture. Do it for the culture. I don't know what it means. What culture? Which culture?
Culture you do it. It's just another word that depends on the lens you're looking for. It's broad. I mean, it's real broad. You know, and I laugh at that. It's like, do it for the culture. What exactly do you mean? What culture? What culture? Can you break that down for me a little bit more?
Right.
I mean, because if I'm an African, my culture is completely different.
Yeah.
I'm from some Saudi Arabia. I'm completely different. My culture is different.
Yeah.
How would you define your culture here? Like your surrounding?
My personal culture.
Fragmented.
Why did I went to computer? I just went straight to computers like,
Yeah. I mean, but no.
of course, using IT term.
Well, I mean, and I say that because as a Black person in America, you know, our culture was ripped away from us, and it seeps through in certain things that we do, and we're
Piece it together.
yeah. So that's why I say fragmented, just because, you know, we're piecing our culture back together and finding out that you know, as Black people, we are all connected.
So can your culture change?
Sure, yeah, you can.
I think your culture is
Yeah.
it's going to evolve.
Yeah.
Just because that foundation that we were brought here was our culture then, our culture right now is different.
Which is why I say fragmented. Yeah. I mean, culture is nothing more than, in my opinion, a set of customs.
And we can make a brand new culture right now, sitting in this room.
Right. Yeah.
Like literally what you guys are doing, Brother Empowerment, is setting up a whole new culture.
Mm-hmm. But can we speak to it? Is the thing, like, we say things, it goes back, like, if you notice every time you're doing Brother Empowerment, these are really the key words that always come out every single episode. It's just funny we're zoning in on them now, but they come out every single time. And culture is subjective, but at the same time, can you define what it means to you? Because if we're gonna connect, if we're gonna be in a relationship, no matter what type of relationship it is, how can you say you defend something, or how can you say you're for something if you can't even define it for yourself?
Yeah. Robert Walker said the sound is grainy. I don't even know what that means. The sound is grainy.
Does it sound like it's going in and out? Okay.
I'm sorry, keep going.
So how would you define it for yourself? How do you know if someone's invading your culture in a sense of going against what your cultural norms are, or how do you know if it's something welcomed?
Culture for me is, as the brother said, a set of customs that I adhere to, whether consciously or unconsciously. And this becomes my culture, and it can evolve as my mindset evolves. So I could do something today that can be part of my culture, my routine, how I teach, and I can be like, no, that's not the way. So let me reverse that and do a total 360 of that. So now I start doing a whole nother way of things, and that becomes part of my culture.
Well, I know it's like, I was just thinking about this today, like somebody said, y'all country in the South, and I'm like, no, we're Southern.
Mm-hmm.
Country is Western.
Where you grew up.
But no, I'm just saying, like,
But
from,
that's your definition.
no, that was really, the West is country.
So I'm from the Northeast,
Right,
and I call you guys country.
right, and you're wrong from a geographical standpoint. It goes against, it's just history as a whole. We're Southern, that's why we're in the Southern state.
I think in the country.
Right, but the country is West, you're wrong. The country was born what? In the West. Nelly came out with what? Country grammar. You see what I'm saying? And Bubba Sparks came out with everything talking about Southern. And to me it's a difference because I can hear somebody from the South and like, yeah, they from the South. And I hear somebody from the West like, yeah, they from the West. Especially Midwest. It's like, it's a language like, yeah. See? You're like, yeah. It's a little different.
Yeah. He said it's going
Okay. Did everybody say that or no?
He's just the only one, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Nobody else said it besides me.
But it's interesting you bring this word, this concept up. I'm from Chicago, so culture.
Ooh, the culture is something in Chicago.
Chi-town.
So everybody has their own pockets of what they do every in the city. So it's based on, like I say, where you come from or your origin, but it kind of does blend.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. I call my wife a black Mexican all the time. Because she just loves to eat Mexican food. You got to have something. But it's funny though.
She's Blaxican.
Yes. But she has been American.
Uh-huh.
As well.
Right.
So she has a rich culture that I have to respect.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't respect the fact that different cultures of the land.
Well, it's just like my wife is Geechee Gullah, and people always saying, are y'all trying to talk Jamaican? No, they're talking Geechee Gullah.
Yeah.
You know, and the sad part is when anybody from the islands, I'm like, all these islands and all what y'all gonna think about it's Jamaica.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that we have created a culture. I do believe that there are macro cultures and micro cultures and subcultures of each one in a sense of, I think that we've created a culture of ignorance.
Yeah.
If you're not like me, then it is wrong.
Yeah. Conformity, all of that.
But that's an American culture because they've always been the big brother.
Right.
Being in everybody's business, thinking our way is the right way. And I think that has trickled down into a lot of communities. And people think, oh, if it's not my way, it's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So Malika had a comment and she said, first of all, hey Malika.
Hey Malika.
So Malika said, what y'all got going on for here tonight? Everybody should sit shoulder to shoulder on the same couch. You can use one camera. We're not doing that.
You don't tell us what to do.
So Malika said she can hear you, Jay, but not us. So I guess we have to speak and project our voices because the computer's over there. So yeah.
Why does happen all the time too?
Yeah.
Okay. So next word, community.
Oh, we also have 5 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It don't went by that fast?
Yeah.
Great day. Okay. Let's get to it. Resolution.
Resolution.
Yeah, we skipped because we got 5 minutes.
Resolution to me is the ending of conflict. The ending of conflict.
How do we end it?
Come up with a solution. That's all.
Always
the
a
problem. No, not always a solution. I mean, resolution could be just nothing.
We agree to disagree with that.
Yeah, or acceptance could be a resolution. Yeah, not to be necessarily. I say solution just because it's a way that it ends the conflict. Usually, a solution ends conflict. Solution not to make everybody happy, but it could be something that ends the conflict, aka a resolution.
Okay. Anybody else?
I would say a community coming together for the same outcome.
I actually like that. The reason why I like that is because I really want brother empowerment and love is a parable to be that.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many negative stereotypes out there. Some we have given power, some we have, stripped away from. But at the same time, where's a place where people can go and learn Meaning, yeah, this is how it's brought up. Instead of being shunned, give them opportunity to speak out so they can get it out and then they can learn. We big on love. We're big on welcoming people and meeting them where they are, but we should have a community where they can come.
Right.
Because sometimes it is just pure ignorance and people don't know any better. And instead of making them feel low for not knowing, allow them to be them and then show them.
Right.
Brother empowerment is about self-reflection and discovery anyway.
Right.
And I feel like we should give them that opportunity. And I think that that's what true resolution happens when people are heard and they understand. Kerwin, what was you about to say?
I was just listening to your term, brother. So my mind went off on a whole other spin.
Where did you go?
Brother empowerment, just man, what it meant to me.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers empowering each other, but also as well as you, self-empowerment. Because if I'm here to brother empowerment, when I empower you, I empower myself.
Right.
Because now I make myself be held to a different standard or a higher standard than what I'm holding you to.
Correct.
So my mind just went to that.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing we said with Kerwin. Loving ourselves is loving you. If I love me, I can love you. But to love me is to love you.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that we tend to forget where we were. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I've arrived. Well, how did you get there?
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget the process of arriving. And I was ignorant to a lot of things. There are things that I'm learning every single day, but I don't forget how the feeling of being ignorant felt.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't want anybody else to feel that way. And there's a way to talk to them. There's a way that they can become aware without shunning. I just hate that whole shunning and ostracizing individuals when some of them really are asking. We see it all the time. People say, well, what am I not getting?
Right.
I'm not going to explain this to you. You should know. No, if I'm asking, that means I don't know. So explain it to me.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's ignorance, which is not knowing. There's willful ignorance, which means you choose not to know in spite of.
Right.
You know, and one is way worse, you know, or just bad, and the other one is just a state of being. I mean, I'm ignorant is to be, I don't know that much about airplanes, you know what I mean? But so I'm ignorant when it comes to airplanes. I know they fly and they big. You know, that's what I know about airplanes. You know what I mean? So that's not all. You know, so yeah, but yeah.
I definitely think that we need to have this conversation again because the hour goes by fast.
When we have this many people in the room, everybody gets going like that. Yeah, definitely.
It's like it goes fast when it's just 2 or 3.
You know?
So, Positive Brother shout out.
Oh, man.
Anthony, you get to go since you're in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, you Jay.
Okay.
Jay, my dad, my brother, my sons, my uncles. I got too many. I got a lot of Pastor Kelly over in Atlanta. Going on.
Well, good. It's good to hear that because we always tell people a lot of times they don't hear about Positive Brothers until we say something, and we get that a lot.
Yeah.
So it's good because a lot of people connect with us because they wanted that positivity. It's on you, Kerwin.
Each one of you brothers here, I want to give a shout out. You want to give a shout out. I'm just general sum it up to the past, the present, and future leaders, regardless of race, religion, creed. To all the brothers out there doing something positive. Shout out.
I gotta come by that.
Last person there.
Yeah, man.
That's big. I'm gonna specifically shout out my big homie Daryl Glover, Dr. Daryl Glover, and my class of 2019, because I got some brilliant minds that are coming up and they're gonna do some great things in the world.
His teens. He's talking about his teens, guys.
Yeah, I'll definitely, of course, say all the brothers in this room, this right here is very powerful. And I love this right here. It's because we have all brothers from different angles, all walks of life, really come together for one purpose and come together, you know, in positivity. You know, and we all have different opinions on things. So I definitely shout out all the brothers in this room. My Uncle Marcus, my Uncle Antoine, we're both watching. All the brothers that are watching, you know, that are here or they're doing something else, but they're still tuning in. And all the brothers that will tune in later on and, you know, drop their piece or whatever. So all those brothers as well.
I definitely want to shout out
The brother who just don't have time to do anything but work. Take care of his family, taking care of himself, struggling to make ends meet. The one who feel like he's never heard, always misunderstood. That brother, because I can really relate to that brother, the frustrated one. But I also want to thank you guys because the reason why I was asking about culture and these words too is because every one of those words you guys are redefining. And I'm just glad to be connected to all of you guys because I see it and it encourages me. I don't know how many times I tell Kerwin every time he do a march. I'm like, dog, I need to do more. I'm trying to figure out how I can put more stuff in my day. And he come tagging. I'm like, you know what? I can't even complain. And he have on a suit.
Yeah, you out there, man. 10 toes down, man. I definitely salute you, but you're out there, man. Out there.
So I definitely appreciate you guys and what you guys are doing. And I want to continue to encourage all of the brothers who are collaborating with us on Brother Empowerment to make it a success in doing what it's doing. And that concludes Brother Empowerment. You guys have a good night.
See y'all next week.